Our agenda for today, so I'm going to give an opening comments and we're going to discuss the following programs. We're going to discuss the Recruitment Incentive Retention Program, which is also called the State Tuition Assistance. Ms. Hotelen is going to talk about the Federal Tuition Assistance and Credentialing Assistance Program. We're going to provide any updates that we have to those programs, and then we're going to go into financial aid support, GI Bill programs, the kicker, and also give you some information on getting military credits, college credits for your military schools, as well as college planning. And then we'll open up for any questions that you guys may have at the end. We are going to ask that you hold your questions to the end, and then you can unmute your mic, and then we'll filter your questions at that time. All right, so moving on. All right, so opening comments. So like I said, this is our first virtual event that we're doing for this year. We're going to try to see if we can do some more events come up next year. That should be fall, fiscal year 2024. So we're hosting another one on Wednesday, and then we're going to try and do it on rotation, like right before the semester starts. So we can put the information out. Soldiers are welcome to call in at any time. That's why we're doing it through Zoom. And then that way you guys have the information and you know what you need to do in order to get your benefits started before the semester starts. So we are going to host another event on Wednesday, and then hopefully we'll put another one on next year right before the fall semester kicks in, because we're doing this event to get everybody situated for the spring 2024 semester. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is online versus traditional. Right now, we have a lot of schools offering distance learning classes to include your traditional schools. So you just got to figure out what's best for you. The online classes offer 8 and 16 weeks courses. I've seen as short as 4-week courses, but it's very fast paced. So depending on how your structure is life, will determine whether or not online would work for you versus traditional semesters. Your traditional is your typical fall, summer, winter, and fall, summer, winter, and spring classes. So like I said, if you're just a recent graduate of high school and you're looking to start college, go full-time, then traditional semesters will best fit. But if you're a working person, you go to work at 9 to 5, maybe online will be a better option. But remember, like I said, that's very fast paced. And a lot of times you don't have the resources that you would have as if you go to a traditional class. So keep that in mind. And another thing I want to highlight is apply as early as you can. Don't wait. These benefits take a while to kick in. If you apply for them as soon as you're eligible. The VA takes at least 30 days to review a GI Bill application. So it's beneficial for you to go in and apply as soon as you know you have this benefit, you're eligible for it. The state TA deadlines are mandatory. The 15 August, 15 December, which we'll talk about later, they are mandatory. So you do not wait to put in the application for those. And if you miss the deadline, if an applicant missed the deadline date, for us to accept a late application, there has to be extenuating circumstances for that. And for FTA requires a minimum of 8 days prior to the class start date. So that's why I said, as soon as you know you're eligible, go in and apply for it. All right, so moving on. So the first program we're going to discuss is the Recruitment Incentive Retention Program. That's the one that I say is also called State Tuition Assistance. So the Recruitment Incentive Retention Program, RIRP, it pays 100% SUNY tuition rate. The current rate is $35.35 per semester. And it only pays for your tuition. It doesn't pay for any fees. It doesn't pay for room and board, and it doesn't pay for any books or anything like that. Applicants that are looking to use this program must be taking a minimum of 6 credits. So that's at least 2 classes within the semester. And you must be pursuing an associate or a bachelor's degree. That's the only degrees this program pays for. It's a SUNY rate for a reason, because it's New York, it's funded by New York State. So the school must be located in the state of New York, even if it's an online school. As long as it's physically located in the state of New York, you can receive tuition assistance for this program, from this program. Now, in order for you to receive it, all we need from you is a complete application. The application is your DMNA 96-1 and the Memorandum of Understanding. That's the only thing we need by the deadline date, 15 December and 15 August. The application is available on our website at the DMNA education website, and we also disseminate application to your units. Your units get a copy of the application and they should push it down to you guys so you can apply for it. Within the application, like I said, it's the DMNA 96-1 and the MOU, and those are the only two documents we need by 15 December. There's a misconception that when we get the DMNA 96, that we need the DMNA 96-1, the MOU, as well as all the financial aid paperwork. That is not true. All we need is those two forms. And then once you provide those two forms, we will give you additional time to submit the rest. So once we get the application in before the deadline date, you must complete your FAFSA and TAP, so your financial aid, within 60 days from the deadline date and forward to our office. Now, if we've had instances where we had students that are still undecided, they've applied for multiple colleges. They're like, well, I don't know which college is going to accept me. So should I fill out the application? Yes, you can fill out the application. You can put on the application your preferred college. And if for whatever reason you do not get accepted to that one, you get accepted to another one, you can submit a change. Like I said, don't wait for something to happen on the other side. Just submit the application, then meet the deadline date, and then we can change it after the fact. Once you submit it, we will need the following documents within 60 days. We're going to need your student aid report from the FAFSA website, the TAP award letter, or the email showing that your TAP award's been received and processed, and if you're getting TAP or you're denied for TAP. If it's your first year in college, we need your college acceptance letter. If it's your second, third, or fourth year, we're going to need the school schedule, your semester schedule, because we got to see how many classes you're taking, number one, and then we got to see your enrollment. So the college acceptance letter is only required if you're a newbie, you're a freshman starting college. But if it's your subsequent semesters, we'll need your student aid report, your TAP award letter, and the score schedule. That is all we need. And there's a 60-day period in which you must provide this, and we'll discuss that a little bit later. All right, moving on to the next slide. It moved. There we go. Nope. So it paused. Give me a second while it moves over to the next slide. All right. It's delayed, so I'll just continue the brief. All right. So for the next slide, there we go. All right. All right. So part one of the Recruitment Incentive Retention Program is the application process. I'm waiting for the slide to move over so you guys can see it, but it's kind of delayed. So the application process, like I said, involves the semester deadline date in which you must provide your 96-1 and the MOU. That's the only thing that's required. You can obtain the application in two ways. You can obtain it from the website or you can obtain it from the unit. And then once received, you have until midnight of that deadline date to provide it to us. So 15 December by midnight, you need to submit your application for the spring semester. And by midnight, 15 August, we need your application for the fall semester. There we go. So those are the only two things that is required for the application process. That is part one. We begin accepting application for the fall semester for the spring semester, between 1 October to 15 December. So when the application window opens up, I normally send an email out to the field and I said, we are now accepting application. And that's where I attach a copy of the application, the DMNA 96-1, the MOU, and the checklist. And then that is expected to be provided to you all. Same for the fall semester. Fall semester, we begin accepting application between 1 June and 15 August. That's our application window. And again, we send out an information to the field once we open up the window so the soldiers can start to apply. So part 2 is the grace period, the 60-day grace period. So that's where we said, okay, we've received your application. Now you have time to work through your financial aid process. During part 2, that's where you have to put in your application for FAFSA. You apply for your Pell, you submit your TAP application, or if you're not going full-time, what we need is your aid for part-time study. That is done with the college financial aid office. So you will go to the college and it's an actual application that you have to fill out at the college. And then you submit that application to us if you're taking less than 12 credits, which is a normal traditional full-time attendance. Then once we receive those documents, that's when we will send the approval notification to you, so you know you are approved for that semester. So like I said, that's a 60-day period. So for your spring semester, that period ends 15 February. And for your fall semester, that period ends 15 October. So that's the timeline you get to submit all the additional paperwork you need for us to review and approve your RIRP application or your RIRP request. So we give you that time period to get everything else situated. All right, so your application process part 3 is the approval and billing notification. So once we receive your application and once we receive all your supporting documents and everything is in order, that's when we start to notify the college of your approval. Please keep this in mind. When you apply for this program, make sure you're keeping your college informed. We work with the college, they call themselves Student Accounts Office or the Bursar's Office, because that's whoever receives the money, that's the office we work with. I know a lot of times you're talking to the financial aid office, but the financial aid office and the student account and the Bursar's office are 2 different entities, and they normally don't talk. And we've seen this over and over for the semester. So when you put in your application for this program, make sure you notify the school so they are aware. So they will, when we send them the roster, they will be looking out for your name on that approval roster. We send the approval rosters to the school the 1st and the 15th of every month following the deadline date up to the grace period. Once the grace period ends, that's where we start the billing process. So at the 60-day mark, if we do not receive any supporting documents from you in order to process your application, you're technically disapproved for that semester. If you run into issues where there's a financial aid delay, you know, TAP is giving you the runaround, they need additional paperwork from you, yada, yada, you can notify my office either through email or you can call and we will grant you an extension. Because if you don't tell us, we don't know. So if it's going to take longer than the 60 days for you to get your financial aid squared away, that's okay. Just let us know and we will grant you an extension to allow you to submit that paperwork late. But if we do not get anything from you, we assume that you just never followed through with the process. You will be disapproved for that semester. And then no notification will be sent to the school for you because you're not approved. So once that 60-day period ends, we start the billing process, and that's when we create the billing forms and we send that to the school, and then they send us to the information to pay it. By that time, it's close to the end of the semester. So if it's in the fall, that happens around 15 October. That's when the grace period ends. And then we start doing the billing form right after up until the end of October. So we start getting them back from the school around November, December timeframe, and that's when the payment is made. It's not an upfront payment, it's at the end payment because there's an add drop. We know students start, they may not finish all the classes they start, they may drop a class in the semester. So we got to wait till the end so we can determine what the accurate amount is that that should be paid. Once we process all the billing forms, we send them out, we wait for them to come back, and then we start doing the payment with the budget office to pay those schools. And they send either an electronic, a EFT transaction to the school, because all the schools should have an account set up with the state financial services, because that's who pays them at the comptroller. The state comptroller is the one that pays those, because like I said, it comes out of the New York State budget. All right. And then the final part is the grade submission. So on the MOU, that's one of the check boxes. We require you to submit your grades at the end of each semester, because you have to maintain good academic standing to continue to use the program. So that means passing all your classes. If for whatever reason, a student is placed on academic probation, they will not be able to use RIRP for the next semester until they come off academic probation. Also, if you withdraw from a class after the add drop period and there is an expense for that, you are liable for that expense. We will not pay for it. If we pay for it, the school normally reimburses us the money, and then they go after the student for that payment. So that's something to keep in mind. When you use this program, you have to be maintaining your grades and you have to be passing all your classes in order to continue to use the program.